Hey guys, tonight we're stepping into the marble corridors of ancient Rome, where your morning breath problem has a solution that would make you gag in 2025. Drop your city and local time in the comments. It's fascinating to see who's joining us from around the world. Now dim the lights, maybe light a candle for that gentle atmosphere, and let's walk together into a Roman villa where your dental hygiene routine is about to get very, very weird. You wake up in Rome, 50 AD. The sun streams through your villa's windows, painting golden squares across marble floors that cost more than most people's houses. Your bed is actually comfortable, stuffed with goose down and wrapped in fine linen that feels like clouds against your skin. But something's wrong. Your mouth tastes like you've been chewing on a dead fish that lost a fight with garlic. Time for your morning routine. You pad across cool marble floors, your bare feet making soft slapping sounds that echo through empty corridors. The household slaves are already moving about, their sandals clicking rhythmically as they prepare for another day of serving Rome's elite. You can smell bread baking somewhere deep in the villa, mixed with the sweet scent of honey and the sharp tang of olive oil. But first, dental hygiene. You approach a small table where your personal slave has already prepared your morning essentials. There's a bronze mirror polished to a shine that would make modern bathroom mirrors jealous. There's an ivory tooth cleaner that looks suspiciously like a fancy toothpick. And there, sitting in an elegant ceramic cup, is your mouthwash. It's yellow, it's warm, and it smells exactly like what you think it smells like. Welcome to Roman dental care, where your morning gargle is literally someone's piss. Not metaphorically, not as an insult. Actual, genuine, straight from the bladder human urine. The Romans believed this was peak dental technology, and they weren't embarrassed about it. They were proud. You lift the cup, and the liquid sloshes gently inside. Steam rises from its surface because naturally fresh is best. The colour ranges from pale yellow to deep amber, depending on whose donation you're about to swish around your molars. Rich Romans had preferences about their urine sources, like modern wine snobs discussing terroir. The smell hits you like a brick wall made of public restrooms. Your eyes water slightly, but you've been doing this for years. This is normal. This is sophisticated. This is what civilized people do to maintain proper oral hygiene in the greatest empire the world has ever known. You take a small sip, just enough to coat your mouth. The taste is immediately overwhelming, bitter, sharp, with a metallic aftertaste that makes your tongue want to file for divorce from your mouth. But you swish it around dutifully, making sure it reaches every tooth, every crevice, every corner where yesterday's garum fish sauce might be hiding. Listen to the gentle ooh splashing as you swish. The sound echoing off marble walls like a very disturbing fountain. Your reflection in the bronze mirror shows a person performing what they genuinely believe is an act of sophisticated personal care. The ammonia burns slightly, but that just means it's working, right? You spit into a bronze basin, and the liquid makes a satisfying splash. Your mouth now tingles with that special clean feeling that only comes from gargling fermented human waste. The slaves will dispose of the used mouthwash later, probably by throwing it out the window onto the street below, where it will join the rest of Rome's creative waste management system. Your breath actually does smell better now. Not good, mind you, but better. The urine has neutralized some of the overnight mouth bacteria with its ammonia content, though you won't understand the chemistry for another 18 centuries. All you know is that your teeth feel cleaner, your gums tingle pleasantly, and you're ready to face another day of being a sophisticated Roman citizen. The irony would kill you if you knew it. You've just performed a morning routine that would horrify people in the future, yet you're living in the most advanced civilization your world has ever seen. Your morning urine gargling routine isn't just about dental care, it's about showing everyone exactly where you stand in Roman society's brutal hierarchy. The type of piss you use says everything about your wealth, connections, and social climbing aspirations. Think of it like choosing between tap water and imported spring water, except infinitely more disgusting. You're wealthy enough to be picky about your urine sources. Poor Romans use whatever they can get, often their own recycled waste mixed with whatever their neighbours contribute to the communal chamber pots. But you have options. Quality options. The kind of options that would make a modern person question everything they thought they knew about ancient sophistication. Your personal slave approaches with a selection of ceramic cups, each labelled with small wax tablets indicating their premium sources. The first cup contains urine from young Spanish women, aged between 16 and 25. Spanish urine was considered the champagne of Roman mouthwash. Apparently the Spanish diet of olive oil, wine and Mediterranean vegetables created a particularly effective dental cleaning solution. The Romans imported this stuff like luxury goods, trading silver coins for amber-coloured liquid that travelled hundreds of miles to reach your bathroom. The second cup holds Portuguese urine, slightly less prestigious but still acceptable for morning use. Portuguese piss was known for its consistency and mild flavour profile, if you can call fermented human waste mild. Roman dental experts, yes, they had those, wrote extensively about the subtle differences between regional urine qualities. Treatises on proper mouth care included detailed charts comparing the dental benefits of various European populations' waste products. You sniff each option delicately, like a sommelier examining fine wines. The Spanish variety has that sharp, clean scent that indicates proper fermentation and high ammonia content. The Portuguese offering smells earthier, with undertones that suggest a diet rich in fish and grain. Your nose has become surprisingly sophisticated at detecting these nuances. But wait, there's a third option today. Your wealthiest neighbour, a senator's wife named Livia, has sent over a special gift: virgin urine from teenage temple priestesses. This is the absolute pinnacle of Roman dental luxury. These girls maintain strict diets under religious supervision, eating only the purest foods and drinking only blessed water. Their urine is considered so sacred and effective that it costs more per cup than most Romans earn in a week. You select the temple virgin urine for today's gargling session. The cup feels warm in your hands, heated to the perfect temperature by your household slaves who've learned exactly how you like your morning mouthwash served. The liquid has a clarity that indicates exceptional quality. No cloudiness, no suspicious particles, just pure, concentrated dental cleaning power. As you swish this premium piss around your mouth, you're performing an act of social display that would be immediately recognised by every Roman citizen. Anyone who sees your dental routine knows you can afford the finest imported urine, that you have connections to supply networks spanning the empire, and that your social status is secure enough to indulge in such expensive morning habits. Your teeth scrape slightly against your tongue as you work the liquid into every crevice. The ammonia content in this particular batch is perfectly balanced, strong enough to kill bacteria and neutralise acids, but not so harsh that it burns your gums raw. These temple girls clearly maintain excellent hydration and diet discipline. The sound of your gargling echoes through your private bathroom, a rhythmic swishing that your household staff recognises as the sound of wealth and sophistication. Listen to how the liquid moves around your molars, cleaning away yesterday's residue of wine, honey cakes, and exotic spices that only the wealthy can afford to eat. When you finally spit, the bronze basin rings with the sound of liquid striking metal. Your mouth feels incredibly clean, though the aftertaste lingers like a reminder of Rome's unique approach to personal hygiene. Your breath now carries just a hint of ammonia, the signature scent of a Roman who takes proper dental care seriously. You rinse your mouth with plain water from a silver pitcher, washing away the last traces of your premium mouthwash. Your teeth feel smooth and clean, ready for another day of eating Rome's finest foods and engaging in the sophisticated conversations that mark you as a person of culture and refinement. Outside your villa, the streets are already filling with Romans beginning their own morning routines, each performing their own version of this bizarre dental ritual, according to their means and social position. Your morning mouthwash routine is driving one of Rome's most profitable underground economies. While you're swishing imported Spanish virgin urine around your molars, an entire industry is working behind the scenes to keep Rome's teeth clean and their wallets empty. The urine trade makes more money than some legitimate businesses, and it's completely legal. You finish your premium dental session and hand the empty cup back to your slave, Marcus. He's been managing your household's urine procurement for 3 years now, and he's developed the kind of expertise that would make modern supply chain managers weep with envy. Marcus knows which Spanish provinces produce the highest quality waste, which shipping routes keep the product fresh during transport, and exactly which Roman merchants can be trusted not to dilute their products with cheaper alternatives. The economics are staggering. That cup of temple virgin urine you just used, It cost 12 denarii, enough money to feed a poor Roman family for 2 weeks. The Spanish women's urine runs about 8 denarii per cup, while the Portuguese variety goes for 5. Your monthly dental care budget exceeds what many skilled craftsmen earn in an entire year. Marcus keeps detailed tablets recording your urine expenses, tracking prices like a modern stock market analyst. Spanish virgin urine has increased 30% in price this year due to supply shortages caused by political unrest in Hispania. Portuguese prices remain stable, but quality has declined since their main supplier started cutting corners by accepting donations from older women whose diets include too much cheap wine. The supply chain is fascinatingly complex. Spanish urine collection begins at dawn in carefully managed collection houses where young women live under dietary supervision. Their meals are regulated to optimize the chemical composition of their waste, high in ammonia, low in impurities that might damage Roman teeth. These women are paid premium wages for their contributions, making urine donation one of the few lucrative career paths available to lower-class Spanish females. The collected liquid is stored in sealed amphora and transported via special merchant ships that maintain consistent temperatures during the journey to Roman ports. Spoilage rates are carefully calculated into pricing. Roughly 20% of each shipment arrives unusable due to fermentation problems or contamination during transport. The remaining 80% gets distributed through networks of specialized dealers who serve Rome's wealthiest districts. Marcus explains the morning's market conditions while cleaning your bronze mirror. Gaulish urine is experiencing a surge in popularity among nouveau riche Romans who want something exotic but can't afford. Spanish quality. Germanic waste products remain a niche market. Harsh and effective but considered too aggressive for daily use. Egyptian sources have developed supply problems since the recent Nile flooding disrupted their collection operations. Your neighbour Quintus recently switched to exclusively using urine from Celtic druids, believing their vegetarian diets create superior dental cleaning properties. The cost is astronomical, 20 denarii per cup, but Quintus claims his teeth have never been whiter. His breath, however, suggests that whiteness comes at the price of smelling like a fermented vegetable garden. The Roman government taxes urine imports at 15%, treating them like luxury goods alongside silk and spices. Tax collectors have developed specific expertise in evaluating urine quality to prevent merchants from declaring premium products as cheaper alternatives. There are official government standards for colour, clarity and scent that determine taxation rates. Underground markets flourish alongside legitimate trade. Some entrepreneurial Romans collect local urine and attempt to pass it off as imported varieties by adding foreign substances or aging it in special containers. Getting caught selling fake Spanish virgin urine carries serious legal penalties, fraud charges that can result in exile or substantial fines. Your household budget allocates roughly 12% of total expenses to dental care, a proportion that would shock even wealthy Romans from previous generations. But dental problems can be fatal in an era before modern medicine, making your expensive morning routine a genuine health investment rather than mere vanity. The economic ripple effects extend throughout the empire. Spanish provinces depend on urine exports as a significant source of imperial tax revenue. Shipping companies specialize in waste transport, developing preservation techniques that keep their cargo stable across thousands of miles. Roman banks offer specialized loans for urine importers, treating the trade as seriously as grain or olive oil commerce. As Marcus prepares tomorrow's selection, he's already calculating potential price fluctuations based on political developments in supplier regions. Your dental hygiene isn't just personal care, it's participation in a complex international economy that connects Roman bathrooms to Spanish bedrooms through the mysterious alchemy of ancient commerce. Every Roman morning begins with the same fundamental question. What quality of human waste will you be gargling today? Your answer determines not just your dental health, but your exact position in Rome's ruthlessly stratified social hierarchy. The urine in your mouth is a liquid status symbol that speaks louder than your toga, your villa, or even your family name. You belong to the patrician class, which means your bathroom routine is a daily performance of wealth and sophistication that would horrify barbarians but impresses fellow Romans. Your selection of premium imported urine sends a clear message. You have money, taste, and connections that extend across the empire. Every swish around your molars is an act of social positioning that reinforces your place among Rome's elite. But even within the wealthy classes, subtle distinctions separate the merely rich from the truly powerful. Senator Gaius Maximus, whose villa sits directly across from yours, uses exclusively urine from Germanic priestesses, who maintain strict dietary restrictions and perform ritual purification ceremonies before each donation. His morning dental routine costs more than most Romans spend on housing, food, and clothing combined for an entire year. You watch through your window as Gaius's personal slave carries an ornate golden cup toward his master's bathroom. That cup contains liquid that travelled over 1,000 miles, was blessed by barbarian priests, and cost 25 denarii per serving. Gaius's breath may smell like fermented tribal rituals, but his social status is unquestionably supreme. Below you on the social ladder, wealthy merchant families make do with standard Spanish or Portuguese imports. Their morning routine follows the same basic pattern as yours, but their urine sources lack the exotic prestige that separates established aristocracy from newly wealthy commoners. You can actually smell the difference when you encounter them at public gatherings. Their dental care produces a cleaner but less distinctive ammonia signature that marks them as successful, but not truly elite. The middle classes perform fascinating acrobatics to maintain appearances while managing limited budgets. Prosperous shopkeepers and mid-level government officials often purchase single cups of premium imported urine for special occasions, important business meetings, religious festivals, or social gatherings where their breath will be scrutinized by potential allies or rivals. On ordinary days, they use cheaper local alternatives that provide basic dental cleaning without the social cachet of foreign waste products. Skilled craftsmen and successful farmers occupy an interesting middle ground in Rome's urine-based social hierarchy. They can't afford imported varieties, but they refuse to use the random collection of waste that sustains the urban poor. Instead, they form cooperative purchasing groups, pooling resources to buy semi-premium urine from specific Roman districts known for superior diets and healthier lifestyles. These collective buying arrangements create their own microstarter systems based on which neighbourhood waste pools they can access. The truly fascinating social dynamics emerge among Rome's military veterans. Retired soldiers often continue using the same harsh utilitarian urine sources they relied on during active service, usually whatever was available from fellow soldiers or local populations near military camps. This creates a distinctive dental signature that immediately identifies someone as having served in the legions. Veterans wear this scent like a badge of honour, distinguishing themselves from civilians who never experienced the brotherhood of shared battlefield waste. Religious officials occupy their own unique position in the urine hierarchy. Priests and priestesses often use specially blessed waste from temple dedicants, who maintain ritual purity through careful dietary restrictions. This religious urine costs less than exotic foreign imports, but carries spiritual significance that transcends mere social status. Watching a priest gargle blessed piss during morning temple ceremonies is both deeply reverent and utterly bizarre. Slaves, of course, use whatever their masters provide or whatever they can collect from public sources. But even within slavery, hierarchies exist. House slaves who serve wealthy families often receive access to leftover premium urine that their owners discard after partial use. Field slaves and labourers make do with communal waste collection from urban chamber pots. The quality of a slave's dental care reflects directly on their owner's wealth and generosity. Female Romans navigate additional complexity in their urine consumption patterns. Wealthy women often prefer waste from younger females, believing it provides superior skin and teeth benefits due to hormonal differences. Some aristocratic women pay premium prices for virgin urine specifically from girls who haven't yet reached sexual maturity, treating their morning dental routine as both hygiene and beauty treatment. Your own position in this hierarchy is secure but not supreme. You can afford excellent imported urine on a daily basis, marking you as genuinely wealthy. However, you can't quite reach the rarefied levels of exotic tribal waste or blessed virgin collections that mark the absolute pinnacle of Roman society. Your morning routine places you comfortably in the upper ranks without quite reaching the summit. Your morning urine gargling might happen in private, but its effects become immediately public the moment you step outside your villa. Roman society has developed sophisticated social codes around dental hygiene that turn every conversation, every business meeting, and every public appearance into a subtle display of your morning routine's quality and expense. You emerge from your villa with teeth that gleam from their Spanish urine treatment, and immediately the social performance begins. The first test comes when you encounter your neighbour Lucius at the street corner where your properties meet. Roman etiquette demands a close conversational distance during morning greetings, close enough that each person can assess the other's dental care through scent analysis. Lucius leans in for the traditional morning salutation, and you catch the distinct ammonia signature of Portuguese urine mixed with hints of honey and wine. His breath carries the sharp, clean scent that indicates proper fermentation and adequate ammonia content, but lacks the exotic undertones that mark truly premium dental care. You file this information away automatically. Lucius is maintaining his social position but not advancing it. Your own breath, enhanced by this morning's Spanish virgin urine, produces a more complex aromatic profile. The base ammonia notes are cleaner and sharper, while subtle hints of Mediterranean herbs and specialised dietary elements create depth that immediately signals superior source material. Lucius's slight widening of the eyes tells you he's registered the quality difference and understood its social implications. Walking toward the forum, you encounter various Romans beginning their daily routines, and each interaction becomes an opportunity for mutual dental evaluation. The baker Gaius greets you with breath that suggests standard Roman urine, functional but unremarkable. His dental care gets the job done without making any social statements beyond basic hygiene maintenance. You respond with polite civility that acknowledges his service role, without inviting deeper social connection. The fish vendor Antonius carries the harsh scent of Germanic urine mixed with his professional occupational odours. Germanic waste products are effective for dental cleaning but considered somewhat barbaric by sophisticated Romans. Antonius is clearly prioritising dental health over social refinement, a practical choice for someone who works with strong-smelling fish all day, but not one that elevates his social standing. Public baths provide the most intense arena for dental hygiene display and evaluation. You arrive at the baths of Caracalla mid-morning when the facility fills with Rome's most prominent citizens conducting business and social networking while soaking in heated pools. The enclosed space amplifies every scent, creating an olfactory theatre where morning dental routines are immediately apparent to everyone present. You sink into the hot water beside Senator Marcus Brutus, whose breath carries the unmistakable signature of Celtic druid urine, exotic, expensive, and slightly shocking in its intensity. The cost of his morning routine could feed a small village, but the message is clear. Marcus has connections that extend to the empire's furthest reaches, and wealth that allows him to indulge in the most exotic dental luxuries available. Across the pool, merchant banker Titus Flavius displays the aromatic results of Germanic priestess urine, while young aristocrat Gaius Octavius sports the clean signatures of standard Spanish imports. The water carries these scents in subtle currents that create an invisible map of social hierarchies and economic capabilities. Conversations in the baths often include indirect references to dental care quality that allow participants to signal their knowledge of urine markets without explicitly discussing the topic. Phrases like maintaining proper morning standards or ensuring adequate daily purification serve as coded language that acknowledges everyone's awareness of these hierarchies while preserving the dignity of civilized discourse. Business negotiations frequently involve subtle dental assessments that influence deal terms and partnership opportunities. A merchant whose breath suggests cheap, local urine sources might find his credit terms less favourable than someone whose dental care indicates access to premium import networks. Roman bankers have learned to factor dental hygiene quality into risk assessments when evaluating loan applications. Marriage negotiations among wealthy families include discreet inquiries about daily hygiene standards that extend far beyond basic cleanliness requirements. Parents arranging matches for their children often investigate potential partners' urine consumption patterns as indicators of family wealth, social connections, and cultural sophistication. A young man who can't afford daily imported urine treatment might find his romantic prospects severely limited regardless of his other qualities. Religious ceremonies provide additional opportunities for public dental display, as priests conducting services must speak in close proximity to worshippers. The quality of a priest's breath during sacred rituals reflects not only his personal piety, but also his temple's financial resources and the generosity of its wealthy patrons. Major temples compete partly based on the premium urine sources they provide for their religious officials. Your afternoon business meetings will involve careful management of conversational distances and strategic timing of your verbal contributions to maximize the impact of your morning dental investment. The Spanish virgin urine you used this morning will continue broadcasting your social status and economic capabilities until tomorrow's fresh application. Beneath Rome's marble facades and public dignity runs a shadow economy more complex than any modern distribution network. The underground urine trade that supplies your morning dental routine with liquid imported from across the known world. Your premium Spanish mouthwash didn't just appear magically in your bathroom. It travelled through networks of collectors, smugglers, quality inspectors, and specialised merchants who operate in legal grey areas that would make modern drug dealers jealous. You've never met Gaius McCarter, but he's the reason your morning routine maintains its sophisticated international flavour. Mercator runs the largest urine import operation in Rome, controlling supply chains that stretch from Germanic tribal territories to the southern reaches of Egypt. His organisation employs over 200 people in various stages of collection, transportation, quality control and distribution, all focused on ensuring wealthy Romans like you have access to the finest human waste products available anywhere in the empire. The collection process begins before dawn in Spanish mountain villages where young women live in carefully managed boarding houses. These facilities maintain dietary standards that would impress modern nutritionists. Regulated meal times, specific food combinations designed to optimize waste chemistry, controlled water intake, and prohibited substances that might contaminate the final product. The women are paid premium wages for their contributions, making urine donation one of the most lucrative career opportunities available to lower-class females in imperial provinces. Transportation involves specialised merchant ships equipped with climate-controlled storage areas that maintain optimal temperature and humidity during the weeks-long journey to Roman ports. The ship's crews include trained waste management specialists who monitor fermentation levels, test samples for quality degradation, and make adjustments to preserve product integrity. Pirates occasionally target these vessels not for gold or silver, but for liquid cargo worth more per amphora than fine wine. Roman customs officials have developed expertise in evaluating imported urine that rivals their knowledge of traditional luxury goods. They can identify geographic origins by scent analysis, detect artificial aging or chemical adulteration, and assess quality grades that determine taxation rates. Corruption within customs operations is common, as wealthy Romans pay substantial bribes to ensure their preferred urine sources receive favourable treatment during import processing. Your household slave, Marcus, maintains relationships with 3 different urine brokers who compete for your business by offering exclusive access to special collections and limited edition sources. These brokers operate like modern wine dealers, maintaining detailed knowledge of regional variations, seasonal quality changes, and emerging sources that might appeal to discriminating customers. Marcus receives quarterly catalogues written on expensive papyrus that describe new offerings with a kind of detailed analysis usually reserved for precious metals. Quality control throughout the supply chain involves testing procedures that would shock modern health inspectors but make perfect sense within Roman understanding of medicine and chemistry. Specialized taste testers evaluate each batch for proper ammonia content, appropriate acidity levels, and absence of contaminating elements that might reduce dental effectiveness. These professionals develop palettes capable of detecting subtle regional variations and identifying substandard products that might damage customer relationships. Underground markets flourish alongside legitimate trade, offering cheaper alternatives to Romans who want to maintain appearances without paying premium prices. Some entrepreneurs collect local urine and age it in special containers with foreign additives designed to mimic imported varieties. Others dilute genuine imported products with local alternatives, reducing costs while attempting to preserve some authentic characteristics. Criminal organizations occasionally attempt to control urine trade routes through violence and intimidation, treating liquid waste commerce like any other lucrative commodity. Roman authorities investigate urine-related crimes with the same seriousness they apply to grain theft or silver fraud. Recognizing that disruptions to dental care supplies could cause social unrest among wealthy citizens who depend on these products for their daily routines. Your morning routine directly supports an international economy that provides employment for thousands of people across multiple provinces. Spanish collection houses, Roman shipping companies, port facility operators, customs officials, quality inspectors, brokers and household slaves all depend on your willingness to pay premium prices for premium human waste. The seasonal variations in supply create market fluctuations that affect pricing throughout the year. Winter collections are generally considered superior due to concentrated waste chemistry resulting from reduced water consumption, while summer products often require price discounts due to quality degradation from increased dilution. Your household budget must account for these variations, setting aside extra funds during expensive seasons to maintain consistent dental care standards. Marcus often discusses market conditions with other wealthy households' procurement specialists, sharing information about emerging sources, price trends, and quality issues that affect their employers' morning routines. These informal networks help stabilize the market by spreading information quickly and preventing price manipulation by unscrupulous brokers. You trust Roman medical wisdom because it built the greatest empire in human history, but the scientific reasoning behind your daily urine gargling would make modern dentists question everything they learned in medical school. Roman physicians didn't recommend piss mouthwash because they were primitive or disgusting. They prescribed it because their understanding of chemistry, anatomy and disease actually made logical sense within their worldview, even though it would horrify anyone with basic knowledge of germs and bacteria. Your personal physician, Gaius Medicinus, visits your villa monthly to evaluate your dental health and adjust your urine treatment protocols. Medicinus studied in Alexandria, where the finest medical minds in the empire gathered to discuss the latest advances in anatomical knowledge and therapeutic techniques. His recommendations for your oral hygiene routine are based on centuries of accumulated medical wisdom that treats human waste as a powerful pharmaceutical tool rather than something disgusting to be avoided. Roman medical theory operates on the principle of balancing bodily humours, blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile, that control health, personality, and physical appearance. Dental problems, according to this system, result from excess moisture and corrupted humours that accumulate in the mouth during sleep. Urine, with its high concentration of salts and sharp chemical properties, serves as an ideal humoral corrective that draws out excess moisture while neutralising corruption through its inherent heat and dryness. Medicinus explains the chemistry with confidence that would be impressive if it weren't completely wrong by modern standards. Urine contains concentrated essence of the body's vital forces, purified through the kidney's natural filtration process, and enhanced by fermentation that increases its medicinal potency. Fresh urine is considered therapeutic, but aged urine develops superior cleaning properties as its essential salts concentrate, and its penetrating power increases through natural chemical transformation. The ammonia content in fermented urine creates the sharp, burning sensation you feel during gargling, which Roman physicians interpret as evidence of the treatment's effectiveness. The burning indicates that corrupted matter is being drawn from tooth crevices and gum pockets, where disease-causing humours accumulate. Modern understanding knows this as chemical irritation, but Roman doctors see it as proof that their treatment is actively purifying your mouth's internal environment. Regional variations in urine quality reflect sophisticated understanding of how diet affects medicinal properties. Spanish urine is prized because Spanish populations consume large quantities of olive oil, wine, and Mediterranean vegetables that create waste products particularly effective against dental corruption. Germanic urine, while harsh tasting, provides superior treatment for serious gum infections because Germanic diets include raw meats and fermented beverages that produce more aggressive chemical compounds. Roman medical texts include detailed instructions for evaluating urine quality that read like wine-tasting guides. Proper therapeutic urine should have clear colour ranging from pale yellow to deep amber, sharp scent indicating adequate fermentation, and smooth texture without visible particles or cloudiness. The taste should produce immediate mouth sensations of heat, dryness, and mild burning that indicate proper chemical balance for dental treatment. Age requirements for urine sources reflect medical beliefs about life force concentration in waste products. Virgin urine is considered most potent because virgins retain maximum vital essence that gets diluted through sexual activity. Young women produce superior urine because their bodies maintain optimal humoral balance, while older women's waste becomes less effective as their natural heat diminishes with age. These beliefs create premium markets for specific demographic sources that have nothing to do with actual chemistry. Medicinus prescribes different urine types for various dental conditions based on Roman diagnostic categories that seem logical within their medical framework. Loose teeth require Germanic urine's aggressive chemical action to tighten gum attachments. Painful teeth respond better to Spanish urine's gentler but persistent treatment. Bleeding gums need Portuguese urine's balanced properties that clean without excessive irritation. These prescriptions represent genuine medical thinking applied to available therapeutic options. The timing of urine consumption follows circadian medical theory that considers the body's daily humoral cycles. Morning gargling treats overnight accumulation of corrupted moisture that causes morning breath and dental decay. Evening treatment would be counterproductive because it would interfere with the body's natural nighttime humoral rebalancing that requires undisturbed oral cavity conditions. Roman physicians also recommend specific preparation methods that enhance urine's therapeutic effectiveness. Heating urine to body temperature activates its essential properties and makes treatment more comfortable. Mixing different regional sources creates custom therapeutic blends tailored to individual dental needs. Adding honey or wine to premium urine sources enhances palatability without reducing medicinal potency. Your monthly dental evaluation includes examination of your teeth's colour, gum inflammation, breath quality, and general oral health indicators that help Medicinus fine-tune your urine therapy protocols. He might recommend switching from Spanish to Germanic sources if your gums show signs of requiring more aggressive treatment, or suggest adding Portuguese urine to your routine if your teeth need gentler maintenance care. Your Roman physicians are accidentally right about urine's dental benefits, but their explanations would make modern chemists laugh until they developed kidney stones. The ammonia in your morning mouthwash actually does kill bacteria and neutralize acids that cause tooth decay, but the Romans achieved this effectiveness through sheer chemical accident while believing in completely invented medical theories that sound sophisticated but make no scientific sense. You swish your premium Spanish urine around your molars, and genuine chemical reactions occur that benefit your oral health in ways Roman doctors can't possibly understand. The ammonia concentration in fermented human waste ranges from 0.1 to 0.5%, creating an alkaline environment that neutralizes the acidic conditions where harmful mouth bacteria thrive. Your morning gargling session actually does reduce bacterial populations and prevent tooth decay, just not for any of the reasons Medicinus explained during his last visit. Modern dental science would recognize your urine mouthwash as an extremely crude but functionally effective antiseptic treatment. The high salt content creates an inhospitable environment for most oral bacteria, while the ammonia acts as a primitive antimicrobial agent that kills microorganisms responsible for tooth decay and gum disease. The chemical composition accidentally duplicates many functions of modern commercial mouthwashes, though with significant additional risks that Roman medicine completely ignores. The fermentation process that ages your imported urine actually does enhance its antibacterial properties by concentrating ammonia levels and developing additional chemical compounds that inhibit bacterial growth. Roman preferences for aged urine over fresh waste demonstrate empirical observation of improved effectiveness, even though their explanations about humoral balance and vital essences are complete medical fiction. They're accidentally practicing evidence-based medicine while believing in theoretical frameworks that wouldn't pass basic scientific scrutiny. Regional dietary differences genuinely affect urine chemistry in ways that create real variations in dental treatment effectiveness. Spanish populations' diets high in olive oil, wine, and Mediterranean herbs do produce waste products with different chemical signatures that might offer distinct benefits for oral health. Germanic diets heavy in fermented foods and raw meats create urine with higher concentration of certain organic compounds that provide more aggressive antimicrobial action. The Romans are also accidentally correct about dose timing and application methods, though again for completely wrong reasons. Morning application makes sense because overnight bacterial accumulation in the mouth creates optimal conditions for antimicrobial treatment. The swishing motion they recommend maximizes contact between the ammonia solution and tooth surfaces where bacteria accumulate. Even their preference for warm urine improves effectiveness by enhancing chemical activity and making treatment more thorough. However, the health risks your Roman physicians ignore would terrify modern medical professionals. Urine contains concentrated waste products that your kidneys are trying to remove from your body. Putting these substances back into your mouth creates exposure to toxins, heavy metals, and metabolic waste that can cause serious health problems. The bacterial contamination in unsterilized human waste poses infection risks that occasionally kill Romans, though deaths are usually attributed to other causes. The social preference for virgin urine actually creates additional health hazards rather than benefits. Young women's waste products aren't inherently superior for dental care, but they're often contaminated with different bacterial populations and chemical compositions that can cause adverse reactions in adult males. The premium prices paid for demographic-specific urine sources reflect social prejudices rather than genuine medical advantages. Your imported Spanish mouthwash contains chemical preservatives and additives used during transportation that aren't disclosed to end consumers. Roman shipping companies add various substances to prevent spoilage during long sea voyages, including wine, vinegar, and plant extracts that might interact, unpredictably, with the urine's natural chemistry. You're essentially gargling with a complex chemical cocktail whose full composition remains unknown even to the merchants who sell it. The concentration variations between different urine sources create inconsistent dosage levels that make treatment effectiveness unpredictable. Some days your morning routine provides appropriate antimicrobial benefits, while other days you might be exposing your mouth to chemical concentrations that damage healthy tissue or provide inadequate bacterial control. Roman medicine lacks quality control standards that would ensure consistent therapeutic outcomes. Seasonal variations in urine chemistry reflect dietary changes, hydration levels, and metabolic factors that significantly affect treatment effectiveness in ways Roman physicians don't understand. Winter urine is more concentrated because people drink less water, creating stronger chemical solutions that provide enhanced antimicrobial action. Summer products are often diluted and less effective, requiring larger quantities to achieve similar results. The bacterial resistance that develops from regular urine use creates long-term effectiveness problems that Romans attribute to aging or constitutional changes, rather than recognizing as adaptation by harmful microorganisms. Your mouth bacteria are slowly becoming accustomed to ammonia exposure, reducing the treatment's benefits over time, and potentially requiring stronger concentrations or different approaches to maintain dental health. Your commitment to urine mouthwash isn't born from lack of alternatives. Roman physicians actually developed dozens of other dental treatments that you could use instead, but social pressure, marketing manipulation, and genuine medical ignorance keep you loyal to your morning piss gargling routine despite available options that would be less disgusting and potentially more effective. Roman medical texts describe elaborate herbal mouthwash recipes using mint, rosemary, sage, and other Mediterranean plants that create genuinely pleasant-tasting oral hygiene solutions. These botanical preparations actually provide comparable antimicrobial benefits to urine without the social complications or health risks associated with consuming human waste products. But Roman society has developed such strong cultural associations between urine use and social status that switching to herbal alternatives would signal economic decline or medical ignorance. Your physician Medicinus keeps detailed records of alternative treatments he's prescribed to other patients, including saltwater rinses that effectively clean teeth and gums without requiring expensive imported waste products. Seawater, when properly heated and filtered, provides antimicrobial benefits through its natural salt content, while avoiding the toxic contamination risks inherent in human urine consumption. Roman coastal communities often use seawater for dental care, achieving excellent oral health outcomes at virtually no cost. Wine-based mouthwashes represent another readily available alternative that wealthy Romans could easily afford. High-quality wine contains natural acids and alcohol that kill harmful bacteria while providing pleasant taste and social acceptability. Adding herbs like myrrh, cinnamon, or frankincense creates luxury dental products that signal wealth and sophistication without requiring anyone to gargle fermented human waste. Some progressive Roman physicians recommend wine-based treatments, but patient demand remains low due to urine's established reputation. Honey mixed with various medicinal substances creates effective dental treatments that Roman physicians understand provide genuine therapeutic benefits. Honey's natural antibacterial properties combined with herbs like thyme or oregano produce mouthwashes that clean teeth, soothe inflamed gums, and leave pleasant aftertastes. These preparations cost significantly less than imported urine while providing superior health outcomes, but cultural momentum maintains urine's dominance in the luxury dental care market. Roman military physicians developed practical field dental treatments using readily available materials that soldiers could access during campaigns far from urine supply networks. Vinegar solutions, charcoal preparations, and simple herbal teas provide effective oral hygiene maintenance without requiring complex import logistics or premium pricing. Military dental health records actually show better outcomes than civilian populations who depend on expensive urine treatments. Egyptian medical influence in Rome includes sophisticated dental care techniques using mineral-based preparations that provide excellent cleaning and antimicrobial effects. Natron, a naturally occurring salt compound, dissolved in water creates powerful mouthwash that kills bacteria more effectively than urine while avoiding contamination risks. Roman physicians who studied in Alexandria often recommend these mineral treatments, but patient resistance to foreign approaches limits adoption. Greek medical traditions offer alcohol-based dental treatments that combine wine or grape spirits with medicinal herbs to create effective and pleasant oral hygiene products. These Greek-influenced preparations provide antimicrobial benefits comparable to urine while offering social acceptability and genuine palatability. Some wealthy Romans secretly use Greek dental methods while publicly maintaining urine routines to preserve social appearances. Religious authorities have developed blessed water treatments that combine spiritual benefits with practical dental care. Sacred spring water mixed with blessed herbs and oils creates mouthwashes that appeal to Romans seeking divine protection for their oral health. Temple-blessed dental treatments often provide psychological benefits that enhance physical healing while avoiding the social complications associated with urine consumption. Skilled Roman chemists have experimented with mineral acids and metallic preparations that create powerful dental cleaning solutions without requiring human waste inputs. These experimental treatments sometimes provide superior bacterial control and teeth whitening effects compared to traditional urine applications. However, the chemical knowledge required for safe preparation limits availability to wealthy Romans with access to skilled practitioners. Professional dental specialists in major cities offer mechanical cleaning services using bronze instruments and abrasive powders that remove plaque and tartar more effectively than any chemical mouthwash. These procedures require no ongoing, daily consumption of disgusting substances while providing superior long-term dental health outcomes. The cost compares favourably to premium urine imports, but cultural preferences maintain chemical treatment's popularity. International trade networks provide access to exotic dental care products from India, China, and other distant regions that offer sophisticated alternatives to Roman urine traditions. Spice-based preparations, exotic plant extracts, and foreign mineral compounds create effective mouthwashes with pleasant flavours and genuine health benefits. These import alternatives often cost less than premium European urine while providing superior treatment outcomes. Despite all these alternatives, your morning routine continues unchanged because Roman society has created cultural momentum around urine consumption that overrides practical medical considerations, economic logic, and personal comfort. Your commitment to gargling premium Spanish piss reflects social conditioning more than rational medical decision-making. Your morning urine gargling routine doesn't end when you spit into the bronze basin. The chemical and social consequences follow you throughout every conversation, business meeting, and social interaction for the remainder of your day. Roman society might accept urine mouthwash as sophisticated dental care, but living with the persistent aftermath creates daily challenges that require constant management and strategic social navigation. You step outside your villa 40 minutes after your Spanish virgin urine treatment, confident that your teeth are properly cleaned and your social status appropriately displayed. But the ammonia signature lingers in your mouth like an unwelcome houseguest who refuses to leave. creating a persistent chemical taste that colours every food and drink you consume throughout the day. Your breakfast bread tastes slightly metallic, your morning wine carries bitter undertones, and even water has acquired an odd chemical flavour that reminds you constantly of your dental routine. The social implications become apparent during your first business meeting at the Forum Romanum, where you're negotiating a grain import contract with merchant Lucius Granius. Roman business culture demands close, conversational proximity that allows each party to assess the other's wealth, health, and social connections through subtle indicators including breath quality. Lucius leans in for the traditional greeting, and you catch his slight widening of the eyes as he registers your morning Spanish virgin urine signature. Your breath carries the complex aromatic profile of premium imported waste, sharp ammonia base notes enhanced by Mediterranean dietary elements that mark expensive source materials. Lucius immediately understands that you can afford the finest dental care available in the empire, adjusting his negotiation strategy accordingly. He assumes you have substantial resources and important connections, raising his initial grain prices by 15% based entirely on your morning mouthwash choice. But the ammonia scent also creates unexpected complications during the afternoon social obligations. At the baths of Caracalla, the enclosed humid environment amplifies every breath, creating an olfactory theatre where morning dental routines become immediately apparent to everyone present. Senator Marcus Brutus, soaking in the hot pool beside you, carries his own distinctive Celtic druid urine signature, exotic and expensive, but so intense that conversation becomes challenging. The water seems to concentrate and redistribute these scents, creating invisible clouds of dental care advertisements that drift through the facility. You notice other bathers subtly repositioning themselves based on breath quality assessments, with premium urine users gravitating toward each other, while standard Roman waste consumers cluster in different areas. The social segregation happens naturally without explicit acknowledgement, but shapes every interaction. Your afternoon appointment with architect Gaius Vitruvius requires discussing plans for your villa's expansion, a conversation that involves examining detailed drawings while standing close together. Vitruvius uses Germanic priestess urine, functional but harsh-smelling, creating a professional dynamic where both parties must navigate competing ammonia signatures while trying to focus on architectural details. The chemical interference makes concentration difficult, but Roman etiquette prohibits acknowledging the obvious olfactory challenges. Evening dining presents its own complications, as the residual urine taste interacts poorly with wine, garum fish sauce, and other Roman culinary staples. Your palate, already compromised by morning ammonia exposure, struggles to appreciate subtle flavours in expensive imported delicacies. The irony is acute. Your wealthy lifestyle, symbolised by premium dental care, actually diminishes your ability to enjoy the luxury foods that same wealth provides. The persistent chemical taste also affects your sleep quality, as dreams take on strange metallic flavours, and you wake periodically with your mouth feeling parched and chemically burnt. Your wife, sleeping beside you, has grown accustomed to your nightly mouth-breathing and occasional ammonia-scented snores, but visitors to your home often comment privately about the distinctive household scent that seems to permeate the air. Your son, Ichiro, now approaching adolescence, shows embarrassment about his father's breath during public outings. Roman children begin developing social awareness around age 12, and Ichiro has started requesting to walk slightly behind you during market visits, unconsciously avoiding the invisible ammonia cloud that surrounds your head. His friends' fathers use different urine sources, creating a complex social hierarchy among Roman youth based on their parents' morning dental choices. The cumulative effect creates a feedback loop where your expensive morning routine, intended to display wealth and sophistication, actually isolates you within a narrow social circle of other premium urine users. Like an exclusive club with extremely unpleasant membership requirements, you find yourself socializing primarily with Romans, whose chemical dental signatures match your own economic level. Your evening ritual involves multiple mouth rinses with plain water, wine, and mint-infused solutions, attempting to neutralize the day's accumulated ammonia exposure. But complete elimination proves impossible. The chemical signature has become part of your personal identity, as recognizable as your voice or gait. Tomorrow morning, you'll repeat the entire cycle, layering fresh Spanish virgin urine over the previous day's fading residue. The realization dawns gradually. You've become chemically dependent not on the urine itself, but on the social positioning it provides. Your breath is both your business card and your prison, announcing your wealth while limiting your social mobility to others who share your expensive, disgusting burden. 3 months into your daily Spanish virgin urine regimen, you begin noticing changes in your body that Medicinus never mentioned during his enthusiastic prescriptions for premium imported mouthwash. The chemical exposure that seemed so sophisticated and medically advanced when confined to morning routines has started producing systemic effects that make you question whether expensive doesn't always mean better. Your stomach begins rebelling against the daily ammonia exposure, developing a persistent acidic burn that no amount of bread or olive oil seems to soothe. Roman medical theory suggests this indicates your humours are being purified by the treatment, but the reality feels more like slow poisoning. You wake each morning with your throat raw and your tongue strangely swollen, as if your mouth is staging a protest against its daily chemical assault. The imported Spanish urine, despite its premium price and virgin source credentials, contains concentrated waste products that your kidneys originally worked to eliminate from your body. By reintroducing these toxins through oral absorption, you're essentially forcing your organs to process the same metabolic waste twice daily. Your complexion begins showing signs of this internal struggle. Yellow-tinged skin that Roman physicians interpret as evidence of increased vital heat, but which actually suggests liver stress. More alarming are the digestive complications that develop over time. Your morning urine routine creates chemical imbalances that affect your ability to properly process food throughout the day. The imported Spanish waste contains different bacterial populations and chemical compositions than your body naturally produces, introducing foreign microorganisms that colonize your mouth and gradually migrate to your digestive system. You develop recurring stomach ailments that Roman physicians attribute to seasonal humoral fluctuations, prescribing additional treatments that only compound the problem. The expensive Germanic urine supplements Medicinus recommends for digestive balance create chemical interactions with your existing Spanish virgin routine, producing a toxic cocktail that leaves you nauseated and dizzy for hours after each morning treatment. Your wife notices changes in your sleep patterns and general energy levels that seem connected to your increasingly elaborate dental care regimen, where once you slept soundly through the night, you now wake frequently with headaches, dry mouth, and a persistent metallic taste that no amount of wine or water can wash away. Your daytime alertness suffers as your body diverts energy toward processing the daily chemical load you're voluntarily consuming. The social pressure to maintain your premium urine routine prevents you from acknowledging these health problems openly, even to your personal physician. Admitting that Spanish virgin urine makes you sick would suggest either that you're purchasing inferior products or that your constitution isn't sophisticated enough to handle premium dental care. Either explanation would damage your social standing more than the physical discomfort warrants. Roman medical theory lacks the framework to understand chemical toxicity in the modern sense, instead interpreting your symptoms as evidence that the treatment is working to purge corrupted humours from your system. Medicinus increases your dosage and recommends adding Portuguese urine to your evening routine, convinced that more aggressive treatment will accelerate your purification process. The chemical exposure also begins affecting your mouth's natural bacterial balance, killing beneficial organisms while creating conditions that favour harmful species resistant to ammonia exposure. Your teeth, initially improved by the antimicrobial effects of fermented urine, start developing new problems as your oral ecosystem becomes increasingly unbalanced. Paradoxically, the expensive treatment designed to improve dental health begins creating dental problems that require additional expensive treatments. Your gums become chronically inflamed and sensitive, bleeding easily during routine cleaning activities. The imported urine's high salt content and chemical preservatives create tissue irritation that Roman physicians mistake for beneficial humoral activation. They recommend stronger concentrations and more frequent applications, creating a medical spiral where the cure becomes worse than the original problems. The psychological effects prove equally challenging as the daily routine of consuming disgusting substances begins affecting your relationship with food and drink generally. Everything tastes contaminated or chemically altered, making meals feel like medical procedures rather than pleasurable experiences. Your appreciation for fine wine, expensive imported delicacies, and subtle culinary artistry diminishes as your palate becomes increasingly desensitized to anything except sharp chemical signatures. Sleep becomes elusive as your body struggles to process the daily toxic load while maintaining normal metabolic functions. You dream about drowning in rivers of urine or choking on ammonia clouds, your subconscious mind expressing the physical stress your conscious mind refuses to acknowledge. Your wife begins sleeping in a separate bedroom, claiming the night air bothers her, but you suspect your chemical emissions have become unbearable even during unconscious hours. The most disturbing development is the growing suspicion that your premium Spanish virgin urine might not be as pure as advertised. The chemical preservatives used during shipping create compounds that interact unpredictably with your body chemistry, producing effects that seem inconsistent with simple fermented human waste. You begin wondering what additional substances might be mixed with your expensive imports, but investigation would require acknowledging that your sophisticated dental care routine might be fundamentally flawed. 6 months into your Spanish virgin urine routine, Roman society has unconsciously reorganized itself around invisible chemical hierarchies that determine social interactions, business relationships, and marriage prospects with the precision of a military formation. Your morning dental choice has become more than personal hygiene. It's a liquid class system that sorts citizens into chemical castes as rigid as any political structure. You attend a dinner party hosted by Senator Gaius Maximus, where 20 wealthy Romans gather in his triclinium for an evening of political discussion and social networking. Within minutes of arrival, the room naturally segregates based on morning dental routines, as guests unconsciously position themselves according to compatible chemical signatures. The Spanish virgin urine users cluster near the windows, where evening breezes help disperse their premium ammonia clouds, while Germanic and Portuguese consumers gravitate toward different architectural features. The evening's conversation flows along predictable chemical lines with premium urine users, discussing import prices, supply chain reliability, and quality variations between regional sources. Standard Roman urine consumers find themselves excluded from these elite discussions, instead talking among themselves about local market conditions and domestic dental care alternatives. The social divisions happen naturally, without explicit acknowledgement, but create distinct conversational ecosystems based entirely on morning mouthwash choices. Marriage negotiations among wealthy families now include discreet inquiries about daily dental care standards that extend far beyond basic cleanliness requirements. Parents arranging matches for their children investigate potential partners' urine consumption patterns as indicators of family wealth, social connections, and cultural sophistication. A young man who can't afford daily Spanish virgin urine treatment finds his romantic prospects severely limited, regardless of his other qualities or personal charm. Your daughter Livia, now 16 and approaching marriageable age, faces constant scrutiny regarding the household's dental care standards during social gatherings with other aristocratic families. Her potential suitors' mothers evaluate not just her beauty and education, but the chemical signature that clings to her clothing and hair, as evidence of your family's morning routines. The ammonia scent has become a dowry indicator more reliable than jewellery or property assessments. Business relationships increasingly depend on chemical compatibility, as Romans discover that prolonged close contact with incompatible dental care signatures creates genuine physical discomfort and social tension. Your grain import business thrives partly because your Spanish virgin urine routine signals to suppliers that you can afford premium products and long-term contracts, but suffers when dealing with merchants whose Germanic urine preferences suggest different business philosophies. The Roman banking system has begun factoring dental care expenses into credit evaluations and loan approvals, recognizing that urine import costs often exceed housing, food, and clothing combined for wealthy families. Your banker, Lucius Crassus, maintains detailed records of his clients' dental care spending patterns as indicators of financial stability and social ambition. Families who suddenly downgrade their urine quality often face credit restrictions and business disadvantages. Religious ceremonies now accommodate chemical hierarchies through careful seating arrangements that prevent olfactory conflicts during extended ritual gatherings. The priest conducting services must navigate competing ammonia signatures while delivering prayers, occasionally pausing when chemical concentrations become overwhelming. Temple attendance patterns shift based on congregants' dental care compatibility, creating distinct worship communities organised around morning mouthwash choices. Public spaces throughout Rome develop informal segregation, patterns as citizens unconsciously avoid areas where incompatible chemical signatures concentrate. The Forum Romanum sees Spanish virgin urine users conducting business during morning hours, when Mediterranean breezes disperse their ammonia clouds, while Germanic and Portuguese consumers dominate afternoon commercial activities. These patterns emerge organically, but create predictable temporal and spatial divisions throughout the city. Military service presents unique challenges for Romans from different chemical castes, as close-quarters combat training and shared barracks create unavoidable exposure to incompatible dental care signatures. Centurions learn to position troops based on morning routine compatibility, recognizing that chemical conflicts can undermine unit cohesion and battlefield effectiveness. Some legions develop specialized dental care protocols to minimize internal chemical warfare. The legal system begins recognizing chemical harassment as grounds for civil complaints, as Romans discover that strategic positioning during court proceedings can create advantages through olfactory intimidation or distraction. Your lawyer, Marcus Cicero, maintains detailed notes about opposing attorneys' dental care routines, adjusting courtroom strategies to exploit chemical vulnerabilities during crucial arguments. Educational institutions sort students based on family dental care standards, as teachers recognize that classroom chemical diversity creates learning disruptions and social tensions. Young Romans from Spanish virgin urine families receive different instruction than Germanic or Portuguese consumers, not based on academic ability but on chemical compatibility requirements that determine peer group dynamics. Roman literature begins incorporating chemical class references, with poets and writers using dental care metaphors to indicate social relationships and character development. Catullus's verses mock inappropriate urine consumption as social climbing, while Ovid's romantic poetry includes subtle references to chemical compatibility as determinants of successful relationships. The transformation reaches completion when Emperor Augustus issues decrees regulating urine import taxation based on social utility, recognizing that chemical hierarchies have become integral to Roman social stability. Your premium Spanish virgin urine consumption now carries legal privileges and social responsibilities that extend far beyond personal dental care into the fundamental structure of Roman civilization. 2 years into the Spanish virgin urine economy, you witness Rome transforming into something unprecedented in human history, a civilization where human waste products command higher prices than precious metals and determine political power more reliably than military conquest. Your morning dental routine has evolved from personal hygiene into economic infrastructure that shapes imperial policy, international relations, and the fundamental nature of Roman society. Emperor Nero, recognizing the fiscal potential of Rome's urine obsession, implements the vectigal urinae, a comprehensive tax system that treats human waste as a luxury commodity subject to import duties, quality assessments, and commercial regulations. The imperial treasury now derives substantial revenue from Romans' willingness to pay premium prices for foreign waste products, creating an economic dependency that influences military campaigns, diplomatic treaties, and provincial governance. You attend a Senate meeting where senators debate the strategic implications of urine supply security with the same intensity once reserved for grain imports and military logistics. The recent disruption of Spanish urine shipments due to tribal uprisings has created panic among Rome's elite, who face the horrifying prospect of downgrading their dental care standards or switching to domestic alternatives. Senator Marcus Crassus proposes military intervention to secure Spanish urine production facilities, arguing that dental care stability is essential for imperial dignity. The economic ripple effects extend throughout the Mediterranean world, as Roman gold flows outward to purchase increasingly exotic waste products, while imperial armies march to protect supply routes that once carried silk and spices. Germanic tribes discover they can negotiate favourable treaties by offering exclusive access to their warriors' urine, while Spanish provinces leverage their bathroom productivity to reduce taxation and gain administrative autonomy. Your personal investment portfolio now includes shares in urine import companies, shipping ventures, and quality certification businesses that have emerged to serve Rome's chemical dental market. The returns exceed traditional agricultural or manufacturing investments, as demand continues growing while supply remains limited by human biological constraints and transportation logistics. You calculate that urine-related investments comprise 40% of your total wealth. Banking houses develop sophisticated financial instruments based on urine futures, quality derivatives, and regional supply contracts that allow wealthy Romans to hedge their dental care risks against political instability or seasonal supply variations. Your banker Lucius Crassus offers urine-backed loans at preferential rates, using your chemical consumption patterns as collateral, more reliable than property or business assets. International diplomacy increasingly revolves around urine trade agreements, with Roman ambassadors negotiating bathroom access treaties alongside traditional commercial and military arrangements. The empire establishes permanent diplomatic missions in Spanish provinces dedicated solely to managing urine procurement relationships, while Celtic and Germanic envoys receive special audiences in Rome to discuss waste product export opportunities. Maritime commerce adapts to serve the urine economy through specialized shipping vessels designed to preserve chemical integrity during long sea voyages. Roman naval forces protect urine transport ships with the same intensity once reserved for grain fleets, recognizing that dental care supply disruptions could trigger social unrest among elite populations. Pirates begin targeting urine shipments as more valuable than traditional luxury goods. Provincial administration incorporates urine taxation into local governance structures, with Roman governors appointing special officials to oversee collection facilities, quality control and export logistics. Spanish communities establish municipal urine farms, where residents receive compensation for contributing to the imperial dental care supply chain, creating economic incentives that transform bathroom activities into civic duties. The currency itself begins reflecting urine's economic importance, as Roman mints produce special coins commemorating successful urine trade agreements and depicting symbols of dental hygiene, alongside traditional imperial imagery. Market transactions increasingly reference urine prices as value benchmarks, with merchants quoting goods prices in terms of equivalent Spanish virgin urine quantities rather than traditional monetary units. Social mobility patterns shift dramatically as families discover that controlling urine supply networks provides faster advancement than traditional political or military careers. Nouveau riche merchants who secure exclusive import contracts find themselves welcomed into aristocratic circles previously closed to commercial classes, while established patrician families without chemical trade connections face gradual social decline. Your own household's economic profile illustrates these transformations, as urine-related expenses now exceed all other categories combined, including food, housing, clothing, and entertainment. Your slaves spend substantial portions of each day managing dental care logistics, procuring supplies, preparing treatments, maintaining equipment, and coordinating with import networks. The chemical routine that began as personal hygiene has become a full-time household industry. Religious institutions adapt their economic models to accommodate urine commerce, with temples offering blessed dental care services at premium prices, while priests develop theological justifications for expensive waste consumption. The gods apparently appreciate expensive chemical offerings, and spiritual salvation becomes increasingly associated with sophisticated morning dental routines. Military recruitment begins considering dental care compatibility, as soldiers discover that chemical diversity within legions creates operational challenges during extended campaigns. Roman armies develop standardized urine rations to maintain unit cohesion, while enemy forces attempt psychological warfare by disrupting Roman chemical supply lines and forcing soldiers to use inferior domestic alternatives. The transformation reaches its logical conclusion when economic philosophers begin theorizing about urine-based monetary systems that could replace traditional gold and silver currencies with standardized waste products. The proposal gains serious consideration among imperial financial advisors, who recognize that urine possesses ideal currency characteristics: limited supply, consistent demand, and inherent value that transcends political boundaries. The morning Senate session erupts into chaos as Senator Marcus Brutus accuses Senator Gaius Cassius of using adulterated Germanic urine to cut costs while maintaining the appearance of premium dental care, a political scandal that threatens to topple the current consulship and reshape Roman governance around chemical authenticity. You watch from the gallery as Rome's most powerful men argue about urine quality with the same passion they once reserved for territorial conquest and military strategy. Emperor Claudius, whose morning dental routine requires virgin urine from 3 different provinces mixed in precise proportions, has transformed the imperial court into a complex chemical bureaucracy where cabinet positions depend more on dental care expertise than traditional political qualifications. The newly created office of Magister Urinarium commands higher salary and social prestige than military consulships, while provincial governors receive appointments based primarily on their ability to secure reliable waste product supplies for the imperial household. Political alliances now form along chemical lines, with the Spanish Virgin Party dominating the Senate through superior morning routine consistency, while the Germanic Strength Coalition attempts to gain power by emphasizing their more aggressive dental care approach. The Portuguese moderate faction finds itself squeezed between these extremes, unable to match Spanish sophistication or Germanic intensity, gradually losing influence as Roman politics polarizes around urine quality preferences. Your own political career benefits from strategic chemical positioning, as your Spanish Virgin urine routine signals the financial resources and cultural sophistication necessary for serious political advancement. When you announce your candidacy for praetorship, opponents immediately investigate your dental care supply chains, looking for evidence of cost-cutting or quality compromise that could destroy your campaign credibility with elite Roman voters. The electoral process itself has adapted to accommodate chemical considerations, with polling locations separated based on morning dental routine compatibility to prevent olfactory conflicts during voting procedures. Campaign rallies require careful crowd management to avoid chemical overcrowding, while political speeches must account for speaker-audience chemical interactions that can enhance or undermine rhetorical effectiveness. Military leadership increasingly depends on dental care credibility, as legions discover that soldiers respond better to commanders whose chemical signatures match their own morning routines. General Pompey's recent victories in Germania are attributed partly to his strategic switch to Germanic warrior urine, creating chemical rapport with local auxiliary troops while maintaining Roman military discipline through superior logistics and training. Diplomatic negotiations incorporate chemical protocol as foreign ambassadors learn that successful treaty discussions require compatible dental care preparation. Persian envoys now arrive in Rome carrying specialized urine supplies to avoid offending Roman sensibilities, while Germanic tribal leaders receive Roman chemical consultants to help them navigate imperial court etiquette during peace negotiations. Provincial taxation policy increasingly focuses on urine-related revenues, as imperial administrators recognize that dental care taxes provide more reliable income than traditional agricultural or commercial levies. Spanish provinces contribute 30% of their total imperial tax obligations through urine export duties, while regions lacking quality waste products face increased monetary taxation to compensate for their chemical inadequacy. Legal precedent evolves to address chemical crimes and civil disputes arising from Rome's urine-based social hierarchy. The courts now regularly hear cases involving urine fraud, chemical assault, dental care discrimination, and waste product inheritance disputes that require specialized legal expertise and chemical analysis procedures unknown to previous generations of Roman jurisprudence. Religious authority adapts to chemical realities as priests discover that congregation management requires understanding of dental care hierarchies and morning routine compatibility. Temple seating arrangements, ceremonial participation, and religious office eligibility increasingly depend on chemical considerations that complement traditional spiritual qualifications with olfactory appropriateness. Economic policy coordination with chemical markets becomes essential, as imperial advisors recognize that urine supply disruptions can trigger social unrest, political instability, and military recruitment problems more quickly than traditional economic crises. The imperial treasury maintains strategic urine reserves alongside grain stockpiles, while emergency protocols address chemical supply chain failures with the same urgency as military invasions. Your personal political strategy reflects these new realities, as you cultivate relationships with Spanish urine import magnates while maintaining diplomatic contact with Germanic and Portuguese suppliers to hedge against supply disruptions or quality variations. Political success now requires chemical supply chain management skills alongside traditional oratory, military leadership, and administrative competence. The imperial succession question incorporates dental care considerations as potential emperors must demonstrate their ability to maintain the chemical standards expected of imperial leadership. Claudius's designated heir, young Nero, undergoes extensive training in urine quality assessment and supply chain management as preparation for assuming ultimate responsibility for Roman chemical policy. International relations reflect Rome's chemical dependencies as the empire negotiates long-term waste product treaties with unprecedented diplomatic complexity. Germanic tribal confederations gain significant leverage through coordinated urine export restrictions, while Spanish provinces threaten supply boycotts to extract political concessions from imperial administrators seeking to maintain their morning routine standards. The broader philosophical implications emerge as Roman intellectuals debate whether chemical hierarchy represents natural social order or artificial corruption of traditional Roman virtues. Stoic philosophers argue that expensive urine consumption reflects spiritual weakness and material dependency, while Epicurean thinkers celebrate sophisticated dental care as evidence of Roman cultural achievement and refined civilization. The morning starts like any other until your slave Marcus bursts into your sleeping chamber with news that will shake the foundations of Roman society. Spanish tribal uprisings have severed the primary urine supply routes, Germanic production facilities have been destroyed by plague, and Portuguese exports have been banned following a diplomatic crisis with Emperor Nero. Rome faces its first comprehensive dental care emergency, threatening to collapse the social hierarchy that has defined civilization for the past decade. You rush to the Forum Romanum where panic-stricken patricians gather in emergency session, their morning routines disrupted by supply shortages that force them to consider the unthinkable prospect of using domestic Roman urine, or, worse yet, switching to herbal alternatives that would signal catastrophic social decline. Senator Marcus Crassus, his voice hoarse from stress, reports that Spanish virgin urine prices have increased 300% overnight, while Germanic priestess supplies are completely unavailable at any price. The economic implications cascade through Roman society with devastating speed as urine-dependent businesses collapse. Import companies declare bankruptcy, and wealthy families face the horrifying prospect of chemical downward mobility. Your personal investment portfolio, heavily weighted toward urine futures and related commercial ventures, loses 2/3 of its value within hours as markets realize the supply crisis may be permanent rather than temporary. Emperor Nero's response reveals the depth of Rome's chemical dependency as he declares a state of imperial emergency and mobilizes 3 legions to secure Spanish urine production facilities, while dispatching diplomatic missions to negotiate alternative supply agreements with Celtic, Egyptian, and even Parthian sources. The military resources devoted to dental care security exceed those allocated to defending the empire's northern frontiers against Germanic invasions. Social order begins fragmenting as Romans discover that their carefully constructed chemical hierarchies become meaningless when nobody can access premium imported supplies. Spanish virgin urine users find themselves chemically equivalent to Germanic and Portuguese consumers, while domestic Roman waste suddenly gains relative value through scarcity. The democratic equalizing effect of universal supply shortage creates political chaos among elite populations accustomed to chemical superiority. Your household implements emergency rationing protocols as remaining Spanish virgin urine supplies must be stretched indefinitely until new procurement arrangements can be established. You reduce your morning dental routine from daily to every other day, supplementing with carefully hoarded Portuguese reserves, while your wife begins experimenting with herbal alternatives that would have been socially unacceptable just weeks earlier. The black market emerges immediately as desperate Romans pay astronomical prices for any available imported urine, regardless of source quality or authentication credentials. Criminal organizations begin diluting genuine imports with domestic alternatives, while forged certification documents, creating a dangerous underground economy where chemical fraud carries higher penalties than theft or assault. Political opposition to Nero's regime gains momentum as critics argue that the empire's chemical dependency represents strategic vulnerability and a moral corruption that threatens Roman security more than external military enemies. Traditional Republican voices call for return to simple Roman values and domestic dental care alternatives, while imperial loyalists insist that sophisticated chemical consumption defines Roman superiority over barbarian peoples. Religious interpretations of the crisis divide between priests who see divine punishment for excessive material consumption and others who argue that the gods demand more sophisticated chemical offerings to restore supply chain stability. Temple attendance increases dramatically as Romans seek spiritual solutions to their dental care problems, while religious authorities struggle to maintain theological consistency amid chemical chaos. International relations deteriorate rapidly, as Rome's desperate need for urine supplies creates diplomatic vulnerabilities that foreign powers exploit ruthlessly. Germanic tribes demand territorial concessions and reduced taxation in exchange for waste product access, while Egyptian administrators require favourable trade agreements for grain and precious metals as preconditions for chemical commerce negotiations. Military effectiveness begins declining as legions discover that chemical supply shortages undermine unit cohesion and battlefield morale more than equipment, failures or tactical disadvantages. Roman soldiers accustomed to standardized urine rations struggle with domestic alternatives that create digestive problems and social friction within previously harmonious military units. Your personal crisis deepens as business partners and social contacts begin avoiding you due to the inferior chemical signature resulting from emergency dental care adjustments. Your breath no longer signals wealth and sophistication, but rather supply chain failure and social decline, damaging commercial relationships and political prospects that took years to establish. The psychological effects prove equally devastating as Romans realize their sophisticated civilization depends entirely on importing human waste from foreign territories, a revelation that undermines imperial confidence and cultural superiority narratives. The dental care routine that once symbolized Roman achievement now appears as evidence of dependency and vulnerability that enemies can exploit. Economic recovery efforts focus on developing domestic chemical production capabilities and alternative supply relationships that reduce dependence on traditional import sources. The imperial administration offers substantial incentives for Romans willing to relocate to Spanish provinces and establish local urine production facilities, while negotiating emergency supply agreements with previously ignored tribal groups and foreign kingdoms. Emergency measures include mandatory chemical rationing for wealthy families, government distribution of standardized domestic urine, and temporary suspension of social expectations regarding dental care quality. The crisis forces Romans to confront the artificial nature of their chemical hierarchies while maintaining enough social structure to prevent complete civilizational collapse. The Spanish virgin urine that once cost 12 denarii per cup now demands 47 denarii when available at all, creating an economic crisis that reaches far beyond dental hygiene into the fundamental structure of Roman imperial finance. Your monthly chemical expenses, which previously represented a manageable luxury, now consume your entire agricultural income, while your slaves spend full days searching markets for any available imported supplies at prices that would bankrupt most provincial governors. The imperial treasury faces unprecedented strain as urine-related expenditures drain resources faster than military campaigns and public works projects combined. Emperor Vespasian's famous declaration that money doesn't smell takes on bitter irony, as the empire's fiscal stability depends entirely on taxing something that literally stinks. Treasury officials calculate that urine import taxes comprise 60% of total imperial revenue, creating dangerous economic dependency on foreign waste product suppliers. Your personal financial crisis mirrors broader Roman economic collapse as investment portfolios built around chemical commerce become worthless when supply chains fail and import prices exceed affordability thresholds. The sophisticated urine-based economy that generated enormous wealth for a decade suddenly reverses, destroying fortunes as quickly as it created them, while leaving investors holding worthless contracts for products that no longer exist. Roman banking systems, heavily invested in urine futures and chemical trade financing, begin failing as borrowers default on loans secured by waste product assets whose values have evaporated overnight. Your banker Lucius Crassus, previously one of Rome's wealthiest financiers, faces bankruptcy as his urine-backed securities become impossible to trade or liquidate in collapsed markets. International trade relationships suffer as Roman gold reserves, depleted by decades of massive urine imports, no longer provide sufficient purchasing power for essential commodities like grain, metals, and manufactured goods. Foreign suppliers, previously eager to accept Roman currency for luxury items, now demand payment in silver or barter arrangements that reflect the empire's weakened economic position. Provincial taxation systems collapse as regions previously generating revenue through urine production and export lose their economic foundations when demand disappears or supply chains become unprofitable. Spanish provinces face agricultural devastation as communities that converted farmland to waste production facilities discover they cannot feed themselves or generate alternative export revenue to replace chemical commerce income. Manufacturing sectors throughout the empire, from pottery workshops producing urine storage vessels to shipping companies specializing in chemical transport, face mass unemployment and business closure as the economic foundation supporting their industries disappears. Your brother-in-law's amphora manufacturing business, entirely dependent on urine import containers, shuts down permanently after 3 generations of family operation. Currency debasement accelerates as imperial administrators attempt to maintain government operations, while core revenue sources evaporate, creating inflation that makes remaining urine supplies even less affordable for ordinary Romans. The economic death spiral deepens as reduced demand further destroys supplier incentives, while increasing desperation drives remaining prices beyond reach of all but the most wealthy citizens. Social mobility patterns reverse as families who achieved wealth through chemical trade connections face rapid impoverishment, while traditional agricultural and manufacturing classes gain relative advantage through their independence from urine-based economics. Your carefully constructed social position, built entirely on Spanish virgin urine consumption, crumbles as chemical status markers become economically impossible to maintain. Agricultural production shifts as Roman landowners, facing reduced rental income from tenants who previously spent substantial portions of their earnings on urine imports, must accept lower payments while their own tax obligations remain unchanged. The rural economy that supported urban chemical consumption through surplus food production begins failing as demand for agricultural products declines alongside urban purchasing power. Military budget allocations face impossible choices between maintaining adequate legionary equipment and providing chemical rations that soldiers have come to expect as standard benefits of Roman service. Legion loyalty begins wavering as commanders discover that domestic urine alternatives create morale problems more serious than equipment shortages or delayed salary payments. Urban population movements accelerate as Romans can no longer afford the chemical lifestyle that made city living socially acceptable, creating mass migration to rural areas where domestic alternatives and herbal dental care options require less monetary investment. Rome itself begins emptying as elite families relocate to provinces where urine production costs remain manageable. International credit relationships suffer as foreign kingdoms, and trading partners realize that Roman economic stability depends on unsustainable import expenditures for human waste products, making the empire appear financially irresponsible and strategically vulnerable. Diplomatic agreements increasingly require Roman territorial or commercial concessions rather than monetary payments that partners no longer trust. Your household budget illustrates the broader economic catastrophe as you calculate that maintaining previous chemical standards would require selling property, dismissing slaves, and reducing food consumption to levels incompatible with basic survival. The lifestyle that defined Roman sophistication has become literally unaffordable for everyone except the wealthier senators and imperial family members. The morning your neighbour, Senator Gaius Maximus, appears in public, using standard Roman urine instead of his customary Germanic priestess imports marks the beginning of the end for Rome's chemical aristocracy, as even the wealthiest families can no longer maintain the expensive dental routines that have defined social hierarchy for the past 15 years. You watch from your villa's portico as the most chemically sophisticated man in Rome demonstrates his reduced circumstances through breath that smells merely competent rather than exotic and expensive. Within weeks, the social transformation accelerates as formerly exclusive chemical castes begin merging from economic necessity rather than choice. Spanish virgin urine users find themselves socializing with Portuguese consumers not from newfound social tolerance, but because both groups can now afford only domestic Roman alternatives that eliminate previous chemical distinctions entirely. Your own descent through the social hierarchy proves surprisingly rapid, as financial constraints force progressive downgrades from Spanish Virgin to Portuguese Standard to domestic Roman waste, each transition marking a clear step down the ladder of Roman respectability. Friends who previously sought your company for business connections and social advantages begin avoiding you as your chemical signature announces economic decline more clearly than any public declaration of financial difficulty. The marriage market collapses entirely as families discover that dowry negotiations become meaningless when neither party can guarantee long-term access to quality urine imports. Your daughter, Livia's engagement to young Marcus Brutus dissolves when his family realizes that your household can no longer maintain the chemical standards expected of proper Roman nobility. The broken engagement creates social scandal that permanently damages both families' reputations. Political careers end abruptly, as voters lose confidence in leaders whose morning breath signals economic weakness rather than aristocratic privilege. The careful chemical positioning that once opened doors now closes them, marking you as financially unreliable rather than socially superior. Your morning routine becomes a daily reminder of decline rather than distinction. The political implications cascade rapidly through Roman society. Senators discover that their urine-based credentials carry less weight than their ability to manage actual governance and military logistics. The empire's focus shifts from chemical sophistication to practical competence, creating opportunities for those who built their careers on merit rather than morning mouthwash choices. Your own political aspirations, built carefully over years of Spanish Virgin urine consumption and strategic chemical networking, crumble within months. Former allies distance themselves as your breath signatures announce financial distress rather than social superiority. The carefully constructed hierarchy that governed Roman elite society dissolves as quickly as fermented ammonia in water. The morning Senate session that once required complex chemical protocols now operates with shocking efficiency, as senators focus on actual legislation rather than breath analysis. The elaborate systems of urine authentication, import certification, and quality verification that employed thousands of Romans become obsolete overnight, creating massive unemployment in chemical commerce sectors. Your household's financial calculations shift dramatically as urine-related expenses disappear from monthly budgets. The money once spent on imported Spanish Virgin supplies now purchases adequate food, proper housing maintenance, and children's education. The economic relief is substantial, but the social adjustment proves more challenging than anticipated. Roman society begins restructuring itself around practical skills and genuine productivity, rather than chemical consumption patterns. Merchants who built fortunes on urine imports face bankruptcy, while craftsmen, farmers and manufacturers discover new market opportunities as consumer spending redirects toward useful goods and services. The psychological impact affects different Romans in various ways. Some embrace the liberation from expensive, disgusting daily routines and redirect their energies toward more meaningful pursuits. Others mourn the loss of clear social hierarchies and struggle to navigate a world where wealth and ability matter more than morning breath signatures. Your wife adapts quickly to the new reality, expanding her teaching practice to include families who previously couldn't afford private instruction. Your son Ichiro benefits from reduced social pressure around dental care authenticity, allowing him to focus on developing practical skills rather than maintaining chemical appearances. The emperor's court undergoes similar transformation, as political appointments begin reflecting administrative competence rather than urine consumption capabilities. Foreign relations improve as diplomatic resources shift from managing chemical supply chains toward addressing genuine imperial interests like territorial security and trade development. International trade relationships stabilize as Roman gold reserves, no longer depleted by massive urine imports, return to healthy levels that support essential commodity purchases. The empire's economic foundation strengthens as productive activities replace chemical consumption as primary drivers of commercial activity. 6 months after the collapse of Rome's urine economy, you wake in a world that feels both foreign and familiar. The morning routine that once dominated your first hour now takes mere minutes. A simple wash with clean water, a quick inspection of your teeth using a bronze mirror, and you're ready to face the day. The time once spent on elaborate chemical preparation now belongs to your family, your work, and your own thoughts. Your household has undergone quiet revolution. The coins previously allocated to Spanish virgin urine now purchase books for Ichiro's education, quality wool for winter clothing, and tools that improve your legitimate craftsmanship. The umbrella making that once required secrecy can now be acknowledged openly as skilled artisan work rather than shameful necessity. Roman society is discovering what lies beneath the chemical veneer that masked genuine accomplishment for so long. Architects focus on building techniques rather than client breath assessment. Merchants compete on product quality and fair pricing instead of chemical compatibility. Teachers gain respect for their knowledge rather than their morning dental routines. The transformation isn't universally smooth. Former urine importers struggle to redirect their business expertise toward legitimate trade goods. Some wealthy families, stripped of their primary status markers, retreat into private isolation rather than compete openly with newly confident middle classes. The social mobility that chemical hierarchy prevented now creates uncertainty alongside opportunity. Your own days take on different rhythms. Morning conversations with neighbours focus on practical concerns, crop conditions, construction projects, children's progress in school, rather than subtle chemical status assessments. The relief of normal human interaction, unfiltered through ammonia signatures, proves more liberating than you anticipated. Business relationships develop along rational lines. The grain merchant offers fair prices based on market conditions rather than your breath quality. The banker evaluates loan applications using financial data instead of urine consumption patterns. Your reputation grows through reliable work and honest dealing rather than expensive morning routines. The children adapt fastest to the new reality. Ichiro's friendships form around shared interests and compatible personalities rather than family chemical standards. His education expands beyond traditional samurai subjects to include practical mathematics, natural philosophy, and trade skills that prepare him for a world where merit matters more than inherited privilege. Your wife's teaching practice flourishes as demand increases for instructors who focus on actual knowledge rather than maintaining elaborate social hierarchies. Her students learn calligraphy, literature, and household management without the constant distraction of chemical status anxiety that previously complicated educational relationships. Evening family gatherings become more relaxed as the day's activities don't require recovery from chemical exposure or preparation for tomorrow's elaborate routines. Stories, games, and simple conversation fill the hours once devoted to urine-related logistics and social positioning strategies. Roman civilization begins to rediscover values that chemical hierarchy had obscured. Hard work gains recognition when not overshadowed by expensive morning routines. Intelligence receives acknowledgement when not filtered through ammonia signatures. Character earns respect when not confused with urine import capabilities. Your craftsmanship improves as time once spent on chemical preparation now goes toward perfecting umbrella design and construction techniques. The work that began as desperate secret activity transforms into legitimate artisan trade. Orders increase as customers focus on product quality rather than makers' social standing. The forum becomes a place of genuine debate rather than chemical posturing. Citizens argue policy merits, discuss philosophical questions, and plan community improvements without the constant undercurrent of breath analysis that previously complicated public discourse. Democracy functions more effectively when participants concentrate on issues rather than morning dental routines. Religious observances take on deeper meaning as priests and congregants focus on spiritual matters rather than maintaining elaborate chemical hierarchies within temple settings. Prayer becomes contemplation rather than chemical display. Charity flows based on need rather than donors' urine consumption status. Military efficiency increases dramatically as soldiers concentrate on training, tactics, and equipment maintenance instead of managing chemical supply lines and breath compatibility within units. Legions march faster, fight better, and maintain higher morale when not distracted by elaborate dental care requirements. Cultural life flourishes as artists, writers, and musicians gain patronage based on talent, rather than chemical sophistication. Theatre audiences appreciate performances rather than analysing actors' morning routines. Literature explores human themes without constant reference to urine-based social commentary. Education expands beyond elite circles as teachers and students interact based on intellectual curiosity rather than chemical compatibility. Schools multiply as families redirect urine expenses toward children's learning. Knowledge spreads more rapidly when not constrained by ammonia-based social barriers. Trade relationships develop naturally as merchants compete on product quality, fair pricing, and reliable service, rather than morning breath signatures. International commerce improves as Roman traders focus on genuine value creation, instead of maintaining expensive chemical appearances that impressed no one outside the empire. Your evening walks through Rome reveal a city transforming itself. Streets bustle with productive activity rather than chemical commerce. Shops display useful goods instead of elaborate urine storage vessels. Citizens interact naturally instead of through careful breath management protocols. The changes create some nostalgia for the certainty that chemical hierarchy provided. Clear social ranks, however arbitrary, eliminated guesswork about proper behaviour and social expectations. The new world requires more thought, more genuine interaction, more personal responsibility for earning respect through actual accomplishment. As autumn deepens over Rome, you reflect on the year's remarkable changes while watching Ichiro practice his calligraphy by oil lamplight. His characters flow with increasing confidence, unencumbered by the social anxiety that once complicated education for families of uncertain chemical status. His future possibilities extend far beyond the narrow path that urine-based hierarchy would have prescribed. The empire itself shows signs of renewed vigour as resources previously wasted on chemical consumption flow toward infrastructure, military modernisation, and territorial development. Roads improve faster when construction budgets aren't depleted by workers' urine rations. Aqueducts expand more efficiently when engineering focus isn't divided between water supply and chemical waste management. Your own family's financial stability, built on legitimate craftsmanship and teaching rather than expensive morning routines, provides security that chemical status never guaranteed. The umbrella business grows as reputation for quality work spreads through natural recommendation rather than artificial chemical networking. Your wife's expanded teaching practice serves families across social classes who now interact based on educational needs rather than breath compatibility. Roman society's rediscovered emphasis on practical accomplishment creates opportunities that rigid chemical hierarchy had blocked. Former slaves demonstrate abilities that urine-based prejudice had concealed. Women contribute skills that ammonia protocols had marginalized. Young people pursue careers based on interest and aptitude, rather than inherited chemical obligations. The transformation isn't complete or universal. Some Romans cling to chemical nostalgia, maintaining expensive urine routines as private ritual rather than public necessity. Others struggle with social uncertainty that accompanies the collapse of clear hierarchical markers. The adjustment continues gradually as each generation grows more comfortable with merit-based evaluation. International observers note Rome's increased effectiveness in diplomacy, trade, and military operations as the empire's attention redirects from internal chemical management toward external opportunities and challenges. Neighbouring kingdoms view Roman envoys with new respect based on competence rather than exotic morning breath signatures. Your evening conversations with Tanaka and other former samurai colleagues focus increasingly on practical matters: children's education, craft development, community improvement, rather than the chemical logistics that once dominated your discussions. Friendships deepen when based on genuine compatibility rather than urine consumption patterns. The quiet satisfaction of useful work, honest relationships, and gradual progress toward family goals provides fulfillment that expensive chemical status never delivered. Your swords remain symbols of honor and heritage, but your tools represent current reality and future possibilities. As winter approaches, you bank the evening fire and prepare for sleep without the elaborate chemical preparation rituals that once marked each day's end. The simplicity brings peace that luxury never provided. Tomorrow will bring its own challenges and opportunities, but they'll be met with clear breath, practical skills, and the dignity that comes from authentic accomplishment. The moonlight streaming through your window illuminates a changed world, not perfect, but more honest than what came before. Rome sleeps peacefully, its citizens dreaming of futures built on merit rather than morning mouthwash, on character rather than chemical consumption, on the solid foundation of work well done and lives well lived. In the distance, the city's sounds blend into nighttime quiet. the natural rhythm of a civilization that has remembered what truly matters. Your family rests safely under roofs, repaired through honest labour, their bellies filled with food purchased through legitimate earnings, their hopes grounded in real possibilities rather than chemical fantasies. Sleep comes easily now, carrying you toward dreams unburdened by ammonia anxiety, where morning brings opportunity instead of elaborate ritual, where Rome's true greatness emerges from the character of its people rather than the contents of their chamber pots.